Hey, it's Cris Chico, and I want to share with you an exciting tool that's going to help you in your real estate wholesaling business find buyers anywhere in the country with just a few clicks of your mouse button. So that way you never have to worry about cash buyers. You can go out and find every single deal that you want and know that they're going to be sold and you're going to be able to make money from it. If you're a real estate wholesaler, investor, and you want to do more deals, you want to do them faster, then I want to share with you a tool that we've been using that I think is going to be a complete game changer for our real estate business and could also be the same thing for you. Now, for most real estate wholesalers, finding a deal is the most difficult part. I mean, you got to talk to so many sellers, you got to make so many offers, and then you finally get someone to say yes. You send in the contract, they don't ghost you, and now you have a contract on a property and you are thinking, man, oh man, payday is coming. But the problem is, that is only half the battle. Because now you got to find a buyer. And if you can't find a buyer for your property to take over the contract, then guess what? All that marketing, all that work, all those seller conversations, all have gone to waste because you ain't gonna make any money. And the thing is that most real estate wholesalers, they don't understand really all the work that's required in order to go out and find a buyer. Most of the time it's going out and perhaps posting the property on Craigslist, putting a property on Facebook Marketplace. It could be that now you are adding yourself to a bunch of different cash buyer groups on Facebook in order to find a buyer. You could download a list of all these cash buyers in a particular area that your property is located. And now you've got to pick up the phone and cold call and talk to a lot of people just to try and find one or two people that are interested in the property. But what if finding a buyer for your real estate deal could just be as simple as just clicking on one button? And all of a sudden, all of the best buyers that are right now looking for a deal just like the one you got, they're reaching out to you and saying, I would love to know more about your deal. Well, that's what I'm going to share with you here on this video. Before we get into that, I do want to discuss a problem that you may not realize with your typical cash buyer list, where you have a property for sale in whatever town it happens to be, and you go into any one of these particular softwares and you pull a list of cash buyers, people that have recently purchased a property. Could have been 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year, whatever the time frame is. And now you're going to get that list of buyers. This is what everybody says you should do. And you're going to now get the phone numbers, meaning that you may have to skip trace those buyers and look up their corporations and do all that work and finally get the phone numbers. And now you're going to be dialing for dollars on the buyer's side in an effort to try to find a buyer for your deal. Here's the problem that I've been finding, and maybe you've been finding the same thing, is that same buyer that bought a deal 3 months ago, they're not looking for any more deals. And you might be wondering, like, why would that be? I mean, they just bought a property. Let's think about it. If a buyer closed the deal in January, does that automatically say that they're going to go out and buy another one next month? If a flipper bought a property and now they're getting ready for this huge renovation, do you think that they're going to be in a position to look at another deal and buy another property when in fact they haven't even started on this one? This is the reason why these static cash buyer lists are really not that great. That's because you could pull up a list of 500 buyers in any one particular area, but only a very small number of those buyers are actually looking for a deal right this second. Because what you really want is, out of that list of 500, who are the buyers that are right now looking for a deal? Maybe they just finished the rehab project. Maybe now they got their work crews in place and now they can actually sit down and explore other opportunities, right? Because they were busy settling things down with their last purchase. But now they're ready. So what you really want is, out of those group of buyers, you want the ones that are looking right now. Maybe they closed on a deal and finally sold it, and now they're looking for the next rehab project. It could be that they purchased a deal a few weeks ago, they needed time to have their contractors settled and everything started, and now they got the mental bandwidth to be able to then now look and see what other deals might be available. So that's exactly what this software here that I'm going to share with you does, because what it does is it actually pinpoints, out of all those buyers, which ones are the ones that are actively buying right now. And it works just like Facebook, Netflix, or Amazon. Let me explain. So let's say that right now I wanted to buy a sauna, and I started to do research on saunas. I went to a variety of different websites, and so I'm in the market. I'm ready to buy something, and I'm just trying to figure out which one's the best one for me. Well, guess what? Now, when I was on a website, now I'm going to go to Facebook, and what am I going to see? I'm going to see lots of ads for companies selling saunas, because they know that I have an interest in buying a sauna. That company that's advertising me they're not going out and advertising to the entire US. They just want to target those individual prospects that are looking to buy right now. Like when I log into Amazon and I search for something and then I leave Amazon and I come back, a little image will pop up and say, hey, would you want some of these things here? Because it knows that, oh, you were looking for this. Now, maybe you want to buy this version of it. The same principle applies here. So you might be wondering, like, what is this software that I'm talking about? Well, it's one that you have heard about from me before, but a new feature is making it almost like if it was brand new. The software that I'm talking about is Investor Lift. And Investor Lift is like the premier platform for selling your deals, right? To go out and to do nationwide wholesaling, just like we do. In fact, the majority, 99% of our properties are sold through Investor Lift. It's our go-to platform for a variety of different reasons. But most importantly, let me talk about the new thing that they have in place that I think is going to be a game changer. We love it, and I want to share with you exactly how it works. And I'll also share some examples of some campaigns that we recently launched that help us sell deals through this new AI that they have. So here's how it works. Investor Lift is a platform where people post their deals. And when a buyer goes to register, in the past, they would have put in, I'm interested in properties in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm interested in properties in Miami, Broward, etc. And they put that information into the system. And now that becomes like their data that then now if I go out and I say, hey, I have a property in Jacksonville, I'll look for buyers that have indicated, that they're interested in that. So you may have on the platform thousands of buyers that have said, hey, I'm interested in properties in Jacksonville, Florida, but how do you know if they're actually buying anything right this second? So what's new in the platform is now they actually are monitoring all the activity on the platform and are specifically monitoring the buyers as they come in and what they're doing. So for example, let's say that I'm a buyer for properties in Jacksonville, Florida. And so out of the 500, 1,000, 2, 3, 4,000, there's a lot of them, buyers inside the platform for Jacksonville, Florida, there's only a small amount of those buyers that are actively looking. And let's say that I happen to be one of them. So I'm going on the platform and I'm clicking on information about deals. So I see a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the northwest section of Jacksonville, and I'm clicking there and I'm looking at the photos, and I spent 10 minutes on the property, and then I go to another one and I spend just a few seconds on the property because it wasn't really what I wanted. Well, the AI is monitoring all that, and then it starts to develop a model, and it knows that, oh, Chico stopped by this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Jacksonville. He looked at all these photos. But now this other one that was just a 2-1, he didn't really look at that one. So maybe he doesn't want a 2-1. Maybe he wants this type of property. The price point that the property was listed for. They'll compare that. So start to develop a profile of me at that particular moment in time in terms of my activity inside the platform. So then what happens is that when I go on the platform and I then list and I put my property in Jacksonville, Florida, I then now tell the algorithm, hey, I want to find a buyer for my deal. And this deal, I'm asking this much. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, etc. And now the platform is going to now compile all those buyers that they feel are ready to buy a property of the same type of property that I have. And instead of, say, me blasting a text message out to 5,000 people and then inundated with calls and inundated with a bunch of inquiries, the system is going to now bring that list down to a few hundred people of the people that right now are looking for my exact type of deal. And then that way, when I do send out a text message, not only is it going to be more hyper targeted, but at the same time, I'm not going to get inundated with a bunch of inquiries of people that are genuinely not interested or wasting my time, versus I'm going to get inquiries from buyers that are right now needing to buy a property. And that's where the game changer is. What I want to do is actually share with you on my computer screen 2 properties. One that we recently sold and closed that we made money on, and we wanted to test, hey, if we send it out with this AI capability versus our normal way of just blasting everybody and their mother, what would be the results? And then another one that right now we are in the process of selling, and we can see, again, the AI in action in terms of how much activity it brought to the listing versus the conventional efforts. Let me share with you an example. This is a property that we have in Enid, Oklahoma. I'll click on to the marketing campaigns tab. Now I'm going to show you what the AI did here. We set up an AI blast, which is where we allow the system to use artificial intelligence in order to figure out the best buyers. And what I want you to notice is the total number of buyers that we sent out text messages to. Not a large number, 286,
But if you notice, look at the number of clicks, 47%. The CTR, meaning that of these delivered, how many of them actually clicked. Now, when we did it manually, which is just selecting the geo tags that the buyer has in his profile, meaning that they're saying, oh yes, I am interested in these properties in Enid, Oklahoma, for example, or in Oklahoma, etc. You can see here that although we sent out a larger number of buyers, the clicks were relatively low, 16%. So by utilizing AI, we're actually saving time, energy, and effort because we're targeting a smaller number of buyers, but yet receiving an almost 3 times number of potential clicks into the campaign. Here's another example of a property that we just closed on in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll go to the marketing campaigns. And when we look at this marketing campaign, we can see that the autopilot generated a much larger number of clicks. So only 228 buyers were contacted with a 40% click-through rate. That means that that's the number of people that clicked from the text message. And then here, this is just the conventional sending out a text blast, targeting people that said that they have an interest in Jacksonville, Florida. And you can see that, yeah, there are more clicks, but only because we had to send out a lot more text. Think about how many more texts we needed to send out versus these two, because this one here, the autopilot is specifically targeting those buyers that are showing activity in the platform, looking at deals in that particular target area.
So as you saw the results that we had with just a very small number of buyers. So in my description, there's a link where you can click to get a free account with Investor Lift that then will allow you access to the platform without having to pay. And then of course, as you're getting deals on the platform and you decide, hey, I want to use this AI, I want to give it a shot because Chico said that it would be great, then they would charge you on a per property basis. So you have to go in there and play around with it. But I definitely suggest you look into it. Look, for me, it's not just about getting the property sold, because you could sit there for the next 2 or 3 days, on a property they have a contract on and get a list of 100 to 200 buyers and take your phone and just spend the next 3 days on the phone, cold calling these buyers and talking to as many people as possible, and you'll be able to get the deal sold. But what if you could get that same result, but do it where it takes you a couple hours? That's what I'm talking about here, where if we could pinpoint precisely who are the buyers that are looking for deals in this particular area right this second, then we don't need to show the property 10 times. We don't need to talk to 30 buyers. We could talk to a handful of buyers, show the deal once or twice, and then put it on the contract. And because of the fact that these buyers are looking right now, they're not like the guy that you're calling that maybe bought a property 3 months ago. They're like, yeah, whatever, send it to me, I'll look at it. And then now, they're not really that interested because they weren't really looking. So it's like pulling teeth to get an offer versus somebody who's right now on the platform looking for deals. They're presented with your deal. Now, the chance of you being able to get a good price from them because they're in a hyper mode. They need to buy a property this week. And so that's a game changer. So it's a combination of not only saving you time, but fine-tuning the results so that way you can get the most you can for the property, get it done, get it assigned, and then now you can go back to finding more deals in order to get more assignments completed. And I'm really excited because this is just the beginning, because they told us all the things they have in place, and it'll make the disposition of your deals so much easier. So when you combine with our strategies of inbound lead generation and you combine it with this tool, you can make as much money as you want, and you can have the ultimate real estate lifestyle business, as I mentioned before in these videos, which, by the way, if you are interested in learning more about how to have the ultimate real estate lifestyle business, there's a video there or here that'll pop up. Watch that. And that way you can also do deals while sipping pina coladas at the beach. That's, of course, if you like pina coladas. Why wouldn't you like pina coladas?